Of God right here on your most favorite channel, MBCI TV. Thank you so much for making time to be with us tonight. We've lined up a very interesting and robust discussion for you. You don't want to miss this particular subject. The topic that we want to discuss tonight is how should a proper church be rightly governed? How should a proper church be rightly governed? I have an able panel that will help us navigate through this particular discussion, and I want to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we'll be able to get to the heart and soul of our discussion tonight. Let me start with the lady close to me. Karibu sana. Say hi to our viewer and introduce yourself.
Hello, my viewers. I am Beatrice Wamboi. I am serving under Apostle Dan Geshimo and Reverend Nancy Geshimo in Horein Ministry.
Thank you so much, Minister Beatrice. Good to have you tonight on this particular show, Ask the Ministers of God. Karibu sana, our second guest.
Thank you, and I'm grateful, Magicho, that this program is still going on.
Yes.
And welcome our viewer. You'll be enriched from this program.
Thank you so much. Also, that's our resident minister in this particular show, Apostle Dan Geshimo. You can also join us live on this particular discussion. You can catch us on our Facebook page, that is MBCI TV, and also on our shortcut platform, that is 23814. Drop a comment or two. As usual, we'll be glad to also see your input on our discussion tonight. And maybe you can just start with Apostle Dan Geshimo. So what would we understand, or you can help us understand, when you talk about church governance?
Church governance, the way I understand it, is putting the right structures that will enable the church to function as it is supposed to. For example, when Jesus was just beginning his ministry, he did the same. He put the structures in place so that he can begin establishing the church. And this is what he did. He appointed the 12 apostles.
Okay.
This is one of the things that he did. And then from there was also another series that followed that, teaching them, correcting them when they make mistakes. And then, this would continue on and on like that. Even when Jesus left the apostles, they also had to follow the same procedure as they were taught by Christ. So in short, and because of interest of time,
Right.
the right structures must be in place for a church to function the way it is supposed to. Of course, there is a position for the pastor or the bishop or whoever else is serving within that church. The elders, we can see also Paul, putting that order and saying how these people should be appointed so that they may take care of the issues within the church, and even people to take care of specific areas like Philip and Stephen, how they were appointed according to Acts chapter 6 and verses 4. How they were appointed. So, in other words, the right structures must be in a church for a church to function as it is supposed to. Because lack of that, then the church may not function the way it is supposed to.
Wow.
So, I think that is the initial stage. It must be in place.
Wow, thank
the
you.
Right structures must be in place.
The right structures must be in place. Thank you so much, Apostle. Minister Beatrice, if you could just pick up from where Apostle has left, what do you make of the importance, therefore, of a church being governed, or a church having that right governance?
Yeah, like just any other institution, order is very vital. And for a church to run well, there has to be order. And that is what now we are calling the governing group, or like Apostle has said, there has to be. And that is why we are having a group that is working out to see. If I can go back to the church, where the church started, we see according to Colossians 1:19 that Jesus Christ is the head of the church.
Okay.
So now it's from the head, because Jesus Christ bore the church. And after that, he himself also give the gifts to the church, the fivefold ministry according to Ephesians 4 from 11 to 12. And this was given to stabilize the church and to bring order, because we see the apostles, the prophets, the pastors, the evangelists, and the fivefold ministry's work is to equip. And the church today that we are having, it's because there was a group that was equipped, the 12 disciples that were equipped. And we can see they were well equipped because up to date, we are the results of the disciples who are well equipped.
Right.
So the church should have that governance, and also to be taught or to have the skills on how to enhance the gospel. And that is the work that the apostles, like now an apostle is not for a single doctrine or a church, it's for the body, to make sure the body runs well. So that is why the governance of the church should be for the equipping of the church.
Well put there, Minister Beatrice. We'll be coming back to you shortly. So, Apostle Dan, when someone, and especially during this era, when we have a lot of denominations and splinter groups, and someone would therefore be asking, so what are some of these features that I need to look for? What are some of these characteristics that I need to look for to establish, to identify that this is a proper church and it's rightly governed?
Just to repeat a little bit of what Beatrice has just said, a church must be properly equipped. Okay?
Right.
A church should have a pastor, should have a teacher, should have a prophet. I know when I mention a prophet, many people think that prophets are no more there. Okay, there must be an evangelist. Okay, there must be an apostle.
The fivefold ministry.
The fivefold ministry must be operational for a church to function like a normal church.
Right.
If a church lacks those five, call it if you may, and let me use this one, that is an abnormal church. It won't function normally. The church should operate having the entire capacity as intended by Christ himself.
Okay.
Because remember what Jesus said about the church. I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. What did Jesus mean? Jesus meant this church will be equipped properly. And because of that equipping, it will function the way it is supposed to function.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that you have to look for if you are looking for a church that is running properly. But you must be careful, because also there are a lot of fakeness these days. People fake miracles. If miracles happen or take place in that church, are they genuine miracles? Are they miracles as per the scriptures according to 1 Corinthians chapter 12? So these are the things that you look for. Teachings must be sound also. Are these teachings based on the scriptures? Or is somebody, just coming up with his theories and philosophies? Because the Bible does not give room for personal philosophies, because the book is there. Follow the book. You see, like the Bereans, the Bible says they were preached to, but in order to prove that these were not Paul's philosophies or theories, they went and searched the scriptures, and when they found that it was real, then they believed the more. So teachings must be Bible-based.
Okay.
Everything must be Bible-based.
Wow.
That is the church you should be looking for. Any church short of that, then that is a sick church. Run away from it if you can.
Thank you so much, Apostle Dan. Minister Beatrice, as Apostle said, therefore, in this era of so many denominations and maybe someone is looking for a place, maybe they want to go and worship or fellowship in, what do you think one maybe need to look into and very, very quickly realize that no, there is no proper governance in this particular church?
Thank you, Manager. And I'd also want to say a church is like a body, just like a body of a person is. And if it's lacking the fivefold, it means you can imagine a body that a hand is not growing, or a leg is not growing, or any kind of it's not balanced. That person is considered incapable.
Yes.
That's the same with the church. Because if the church lacks that balance, then something goes amiss. Like when, let's talk about the prophetic. There's the teaching, okay, there's the basics, and there's where we come from when we get saved. And I think with the Protestants, these things are a little bit. Because once a person gets saved, he's supposed to go to a discipleship class. Because it's, no matter how big or how old you are a spiritual being that needs to be taught the basics. And when you lack that, and you just looked and people see a grown-up of a man and you're given a responsibility, of course, you are going to err somewhere because you never went through the elementaries. And therefore, still, we go back that the problem could be still in the leadership or in the governance, because these disciples were trained so well, and a prophet knew what I should do, what I should not do. So even when a prophet comes and prophesies, because the spirit of prophet is upon her, we should not judge, because who has taken this prophet to class?
Right.
You see? So there is such things that are lacking, and they are very basic. So when you build a house and some things are lacking, it may look so beautiful, but at the end of it all, you start seeing a crack that tells you there was something wrong with the foundation. So the foundation is very vital. And I would say even now, we really need a church governance that is there to teach the elementary. Yes.
Wow, well put there. And of course, Apostle, I know there is an expression in the, what you can call maybe this, the secular government, government of the people, by the people, for the people. When you come to the church, so who is responsible for governance? And how much should the congregation be responsible and even be informed about the governance of the church?
What I would say is that there are hierarchies. Of course, when the disciples were with Jesus, they knew Jesus was the hand. So even in the church, the same hierarchies should be there. If it is a bishop, he may be having an assistant bishop. If it's a senior pastor, there must be an associate pastor. You have the elders, you have the deacons, and others. So that hierarchy must be there, and that order must be followed, so that the church may be able to move as one entity.
Wow,
Yes.
well put. I want us to take a short break at this particular point. You're still watching the program Ask the Ministers of God right here on MBCI TV. Our topic of discussion tonight: how should a proper church be rightly governed? How should a proper church be rightly governed? Continue giving us your feedback on our Facebook page, that is MBCI TV. Drop a comment or two on our conversation, and also on our shortcut platform 23814. We'll continue to appreciate your input in our discussion. We're taking a short breather. We are still coming back with much more.